So I just recently closed the best trade that I've ever done. I took $1,500 and I turned it into $18,000, which was 12 times my money, and I did it in under 30 days. If you want to see how I did it, stick around, I'm going to show you how. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Mel, and today we're going to be talking about how I took $1,500 and turned it into $18,000 trading stock options. So let's go ahead and get into the video. And first, we need to discuss terminology. So some of the option terminology as a beginner, especially trading options, that I want you to become familiar with is first the strike price, the expiration date, the premium, calls and puts, and then the bid and the ask. All right, so what is an option contract even, and why do people like options? Well, an option contract is a contract that gives you the right but not the obligation to buy or sell 100 shares of a stock at a predetermined price and a predetermined date. And notice I put emphasis on price and date because that's going to be important for you to understand options and how they work. The next thing that I want to discuss is the option premium. The premium is what makes options sexy. So the premium is the price paid to buy the option contract. And I want you to think down payment when you think about the option premium. And so now you're probably wondering, so the down payment, how does that work? Well, the down payment is why options are so sexy. So let's take an Apple example. I always use Apple in my video, but let's use Apple as an example. So 100 shares of Apple, if you wanted to buy 100 shares, it will cost you, as of today, around 21 grand or $21,000 to own 100 shares of Apple. Well, most people may not have $21,000 just lying around their house. So this is where options would come in handy. The premium paid is far less than what it would cost you to own the 100 shares. And the premium paid is going to depend on the expiration, and it's also going to depend on the strike price chosen. All right, so let's discuss the strike price. So the strike price is the price that you're willing to pay for the underlying stock, regardless if it goes up. So let's just say, for example, let's just say you have a house, right? And the market right now, we're going to use today's market. Inflation is crazy, interest rates are high, but let's just say you signed a contract with someone to buy a $200,000 house, but you don't want to buy it today because you want to wait for interest rates to come down. So you make a deal with the seller that you are to own this house at $200,000 in the next year, right? So let's just say a year from now, the market has appreciated, the underlying house is really worth $350,000. And not only that, the interest rates are down, but you have a contract saying that you have the right to own this house at $200,000. Well, the difference between the 350 and the 200, you have some equity in the house, right? Correct? So that's kind of how strike prices work. So you're going to use an Apple example again. So let's just say you buy a Apple contract, option contract, and you buy a 190 call option on Apple. So if the price of Apple goes up to $200, but you bought a 190 contract on Apple, well, you have the right to own Apple at 190, but you have some meat now, right? You have some meat in the game because Apple's price is at $200. So the difference between the $200 and the $90, that's a $10 difference, right? But you do have to take into consideration how much you actually paid for the contract. Remember the down payment. So let's just say you paid $300 for the Apple 190 call and it expires next week. And the contract is now, or the price of Apple is now up to $200. Well, let's just say that now that same options contract is worth $1,000. Well, 1,000 minus what you paid for the contract, which is $300, is $700. So you profited $700 on the options contract. The option expiration is just that. It's the date at which the option contract expires. A lot of people always think that you have to hold the option contract until expiration, but that's not true. You can literally buy an option contract with an expiration of next year, and you can close the option contract the same day if you wanted to. Expirations just gives you the time for the market to move in your favor to benefit from the option contract. One thing I do want to mention about expiration is that the further out your expiration is, the more that option contract is going to cost. Just think buying time. You're buying time, you're giving yourself time to make money on the option contract. All right, so for this to make more sense, I do want to explain to you the next term that I had on the terminology page, or the two terms, which were calls and puts. So if you are buying a call, you are basically saying that you think that the underlying stock is going to increase in value. If you are buying a put, you basically are saying that you believe that the underlying stock is going to decrease in value. So one thing I always use to remember the difference between a call and a put is, if you are buying a call, you are going to call up, and if you are buying a put, you are going to put down. Another important term, or terms, that I would like to point out is the bid versus the ask, and the bid-ask spread. So the ask is the lowest price that sellers are willing to sell the option contract and where you will buy, and the bid is the highest price someone will pay for the option and where you will sell. So I'm going to pull up the option chain here shortly, and I'm going to show you everything in the makeup of an options chain, so all of this can kind of make more sense to you, and we'll do a quick example of how it would look if you were to buy an option contract. So I mentioned that the bid-ask spread. So this is very important. The bid-ask spread. So the ask is where you will buy, and the bid is where the sellers are selling, right? Well, one thing about it, when it comes to the bid-ask spread, I like my bid-ask spread to be at least $1 or less. And the reason why I say this is because let's just say, for example, if you were to buy an option contract, right? And the option, you didn't mean to, you maybe made a mistake, the option kind of went against you really quick. Well, if you're more than $1 out, remember that you have to multiply this by 100. So if you're more than $1 out, it's going to already cost you over $100 to get rid of this contract and sell it back to the person on the other end. So I always like to keep my bid-ask spread less than at least $1. All right, so now I want to pull up an option chain so you can kind of get used to how an option contract would look, how an order would look if you were to buy an option. So, and another thing as far as expirations, I like to buy option contracts that are at least about 2 to 3 months out, because you want to give yourself time for the option to move in your favor. All right, so I have my option contract pulled up, and I have Apple as the option that we're going to be buying today, and you can buy options on the same platform where you trade stocks. So I am on TradeStation, and I am in my sim account. So of course the market is closed today, so nothing is going to be live, but I'm going to show you how it would look if you were to place an order for an option. Okay, so first off, down the middle, you see the strike prices. And as you can see, the more intrinsic value that you have, the price of the options go up. So Apple's price is at $212, so $210, you have $2, a little about $2 of intrinsic value. And intrinsic value is just basically like the true value of the option contract. You have 207, 205, and so forth. And you see, as I go deeper into value, the price is going to be more for the actual contract. So let's just say, for example, I am buying an August 16th option, and I want my strike price to be at the money, because Apple's current price right now is at $212. So at $210, I'm pretty much in the money now because I have $2 of intrinsic value. So you can see that the price is $10.30, but I have to multiply that by 100 because we are again controlling 100 shares of the stock. So 100 shares, or one contract, which is equivalent to 100 shares at an August 16th expiration, at a 210 strike. So now I'm going to hit trade, right? So as you can see, it's going to come up. At the top, you see August 16th. This is just you verifying. And I always do a mid order instead of the price that they're actually asking for, because it's gonna give you the mid. Like it's gonna give you, it's like you're making a deal, as I mentioned earlier. And the market's not open, so it doesn't really matter. But I normally do good to close. I changed my duration to good to close, and that just basically is saying that this order is going to stay open until it is executed. And so then I'm going to hit review, and as you can see, so my max loss on this option contract is what I paid for it, and which is $1,000, and my break even would be $220, and the total cost of this trade is going to run me about $1,000. All right, guys, I hope this video was insightful. I hope as a beginner, you're kind of able to see how I was able to take the $1,500 and turn it into $18,000. And honestly, that was a very special trade. I bought out of the money option contracts, and it worked out. I bought them on NVIDIA. Everything worked out in my favor, and I was able to 12 times my money. So if you are interested in knowing more about options, at the money, out the money, in the money, the Greeks of options, I want you to comment down below more info. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. And yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next one.